What happens if the heating, air conditioning technicians, salespeople, or even business owners around you are dumb? And why does it matter? This is a fantastic question. I'm Scott Sylvan Bell, coming to you live for HVAC Technician Sales Secrets on a perfect day to talk about sales and business, and a fantastic day to talk about you. Okay, so I want to share something with you. I put out a video already talking about what happens when the people around you are dumb. And while I was editing it, I was like, hey, you know what? There's probably about 25 other things that I could add to this. So I'm going to do a part 2 and a part 3. And so part 2 here is, if you've never been in a management meeting, especially when there's a lot of employees, you don't really understand all the inherent risks in business. You don't see all the problems that can happen. So I'm going to just run you through an exercise. You go in, get in your company vehicle, and you drive, or your personal vehicle, and you drive to your office. What are all the things that can go wrong, right? And all the mistakes you can make. You could probably make a list of about 40 things, okay? You get to the office, and between the time that you get to the office at 8 or 9 and you go to lunch at 12 or 1, what are a list of all the things that you could do that are wrong, that could be dumb? And then you have a list of everything you do from lunch to the end of the day that you could do that are very dumb. All of those issues, all of those problems, that huge list that you have turns into risk, turns into problems, turns into pain points. And for an owner of a company or a manager of a company, they're managing risk. They're looking and going, look at all of these problems that we can have. So we have to put rules in place. And you may not understand the rules. You may not understand why those items are put in place, because you're not managing risk. You're doing a job. You're like, I'm going to go out and I'm going to perform a task. The rules and the concepts and the ideas that are typically put in place are meant to reduce harm. They're meant to reduce repayment of problems that have nothing to do with the job or the task. They're meant to make sure that there's a profit inside of the organization or inside of the company. And so from an employee, you can look this direction and have one view. And from a manager or owner, you can look from this direction and have another view and say, hey, here's my list of reasons why. And this is a super important thing, especially for employees to understand, that where there's risk, there's probably going to be rules. And you may not always understand these rules. And this right here is why you should join my email publication. I'll give you the goods, not in the Facebook group, not the YouTube channel. That means go to the browser, type in the URL, drop in your email address and your name, and I'll give you some goods. And so you have to be aware that when there is risk and there is rules, there's probably a reason for it. So, you know, especially like around the construction trade, the list of things that could go wrong just on the way to a job site, insane. The list of things that could go wrong on the job site, even more insane. And the list of things that could go wrong after the job is done is even more insane, right? It's like squared. It's like cubed. There's a lot of problems. And so if you're this person and you're like, hey, I'm looking around and there's all these stupid things or dumb things that I've got to do, ask. Like, not in the annoying way. Why? Like, hey, can you help me understand why we do things this way? Okay. And you may get a story. And somebody may come back and go, well, you know, in 1971, on a Wednesday on a full moon, when somebody stubbed their toe getting out of bed, one dude did this thing and ruined it for everybody. Everybody's got to do push-ups now. That's frustrating. Okay. Different story when somebody goes, hey, well, maybe you don't know this, but there's laws, there's regulations, there's lawsuits, there's all these things. And 27 times this has happened. Oh, well, that makes sense. That's where there's, okay, now I get it. The problem is you don't have the opportunity, you don't have the ability for every time you see one of these dumb issues for you to ask that question. And so especially the larger the organization, it's going to seem like some of the rules are really dumb. The bigger the team, it's going to be like, okay, well, we've had this problem, and for 22 years, we've had this many employees. And so you start multiplying out all these issues, and some of it's done to protect the back end of the company and say like, hey, we're doing everything we can to reduce risk. So be aware that sometimes it's your job to over communicate and say, hey, I'm not understanding. Maybe we could talk this through. In my mind, this is dumb. Why are we doing it? And you may get a really good answer, or you may get a very dumb answer. But sometimes the people that are around you are dumb. And sometimes the person that's dumb in the conversation is you and is me, right? You have to be aware that we make mistakes just like everybody else. So a lot of times rules are put in place for risk mitigation, and that's why they're there. It's meant to reduce risk and reduce harm. You got one of three things to do from here, just one of three. Find the subscribe button, click on it. Every time I send out a video, you'll get an update. 2, hit follow. 3, share this video with a friend. We'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.